Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here, my name is Tia. I am a busy mom of two, a vegan nutritionist, and someone who tried to live a healthy vegan lifestyle for a really long time, but I just kept falling off of the wagon. It can be kind of hard sticking to this lifestyle with the way society is set up, with little bitty kids and your family not even being vegan. Mine were not vegan at the time, so it was kind of challenging. But I figured how to make this lifestyle a reality for me, and the best part about this channel is I love sharing that with you. I love sharing how I was able to simplify things and make it easy to live a healthy, whole foods, plant-based lifestyle. I also love to talk to you about all of the ways I was able to lose 50 pounds of unhealthy and unwanted body fat. So if this all sounds good to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. I post every Monday and I hope to see you stick around. You like those flip-flops right there? Yeah. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about some reasons that you may not be losing weight on a vegan, plant-based diet. I know the first time I switched over, I thought I was going to be healthy and drop a little bit of body fat. Let's be honest, I had quite a bit to lose. And what happened was completely the opposite. All that happened was I started to get really frustrated, really confused on what to do. I was convinced something was wrong with me. Seriously, I can't tell you how many times I told my husband, something's wrong with my thyroid. It's off. My hormones are out of whack. And sure enough, every single time I would get a blood test taken, it would come back. And on the phone with the nurse, I would be like, okay, what's going on with my thyroid? And she would say, oh, it's great. Your thyroid is super healthy. Your hormones are all great. So what was really going on? What was the deal? I dropped meat, dairy, eggs, but nothing would give. Why couldn't I lose weight after switching over to a plant-based diet? So many people had. What was going on? Well, let's go ahead and get right into it. I want to talk about the exact reasons I was stuck. There's about 5 of them, but make sure you stick around till the end because I have a bonus reason, and I think this one is like the mamma jamma of them all. So you're not going to want to miss it. All right, so number 1, the reason you may not be losing weight on a plant-based diet is the processed food. Just because something is labeled vegan does not make it healthy. Now I'm talking about like the Impossible burgers, the Beyond Meat burgers, all the fake meat out there, the fake cheeses, vegan junk food like pizza and cookies and cakes. All of this stuff, again, just because it's vegan does not make it healthy. It's actually pretty unhealthy for you. Now don't get me wrong, these are great transitional items. If you are coming from the standard American diet and you're trying to find a way to move over easily, great for transitioning. They help out the animals, they're great for the environment. So there are some benefits to these processed foods, but the key here is to make sure that once you transition, you start to try to get those processed foods out of your diet. Not only are they unhealthy for you, but they are very calorically dense. You want to be eating real whole plant foods that are full of nutrition, that are more nutritionally dense than calorically dense. These are going to fill your stomach and satisfy you without packing in the calories. I know it can be quite confusing because you see the commercials out there, you see the advertisements for the plant-based option at Burger King. I know Taco Bell and McDonald's, I think, and some of the other fast food places, they're signing deals with plant-based options, which again is awesome for the animals and the environment. But for your body, not the best option. So again, if you find yourself wanting to eat these things to help you transition, that's okay here and there, but make sure you try to come up with a plan or some way to slowly get these things out of your diet because they will stop you from losing weight if you eat too much of it. All right, the second reason you may not be losing weight on a plant-based diet is oil. And yes, I'm talking about the so-called healthy oils like coconut oil and olive oil. Listen, none of these oils are really healthy because they're not a real food. They are pure extracted liquid fat. Do you know 1 tablespoon of oil has about 125 calories in there? Most people use 1 to 2 tablespoons to saute their veggies in before they even start creating the meal. Like I said, oil is pure liquid fat, no nutrients. All of that is extracted from the plant. And what do you think happens with pure fat in the body? Well, the fat is absorbed and it goes and it gets stored in its fat cells. And your body loves that because this is easy fat for it to store for, like a rainy day. Or maybe a day when, there's no food around. So these type of fats aren't really the fats that you want to be eating. You want to be eating whole plant foods, fats that come from whole plant foods, the fat that comes from avocados, the fat that comes from nuts and seeds. Dr. John McDougall has a phrase, the fat you eat is the fat you wear. And boy, I think that's pretty true. It's really like a perfect phrase because when we ingest, when our body absorbs really high fat foods, yes, sometimes a little bit of that will be used for energy, but most of it is going to be stored as fat and sit there for when you go starving, which doesn't really happen much nowadays. There's food everywhere. Oil is highly processed. Oils that you're putting on foods to cook with, oils that are found in prepackaged foods. These oils are not healthy. It's not a food you're gonna find in nature. Is it even really a food? Now, I get asked quite a bit, well, what about when you go out to eat? Like, how do you avoid oils that like the chefs cook with? Number one, I don't go out to eat a lot, but that's the deal. Like, it's an occasional thing for me. And on occasion, if you're going out to eat and you have a meal with a little bit of oil in it, you're gonna be okay. But you don't want to make this a habit because again, oil is pure fat and it is full, jam-packed with calories. So if you can remove all oils from your diet, that's gonna help you consume less calories and get to a healthy body weight quicker. There are many ways that you can cook without eating oils or eat without eating oils. I love to use veggie broth to saute my veggies in when I'm cooking. When you're baking, there's options. When it comes to salad dressings, you don't have to be doing the oil and vinegar. You can use something more like a vinaigrette that involves tahini, one that you make yourself, not buy at the store because that will probably have oil in it. So there are things you can do. You're not stuck. Drop the oil. It'll help you. All right, the third thing that may be stopping you from losing weight on a vegan, plant-based diet is snacking. Listen, I've said it before. There is so much food out there. It's pretty easy to mindlessly eat. Trust me, I used to do it all the time. When I would make my kids lunch, I would be making the lunch and be putting some of their food in my mouth. When I was watching TV, I would eat a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Going on a road trip, many times I just wanted to eat something because, well, what else am I gonna do? And then many times as we're cooking a meal, we're eating. Like, as we're cooking it, we're tasting it, we're like, oh, that's really good, and we continue to pick at it. Then when the meal's done being cooked, we sit down and eat a pretty good portion. These calories add up. And let me say something about calories. Those of you who have been following me for a while know this, but some of you don't. I have mentioned calories adding up quite a bit, and I'm not recommending counting calories. I'm just stating a fact. Weight loss is all about being in a calorie deficit. So if you're continuing to eat these things that we're talking about or snacking, those calories are gonna add up. So I just wanted to add that, not promoting counting calories, just talking about the basics. Now, one of the ways I was able to stop this mindless snacking was that I made sure every meal that I had was full of fiber, full of nutrients, full of satisfying, starchy foods. These things are gonna tell your belly and your brain that you are good. You're gonna find you're not gonna wanna reach for the snacks as much. Another way you can stop the mindless eating, I know I was a big boredom eater. is just try to find something to do. Something that where you can train your mind to, instead of reach for snacks, maybe reach for a book or go for a walk around the block. I know I loved doing that every time I was bored and I was like, let me see what's in my pantry. Instead of walking to the pantry, I started to tell myself, let me just put my shoes on. I'm not gonna say that I have to go walk a mile or 2 miles. I'm just gonna go walk around the block. See if this feeling goes away. And guess what? It always did. And sometimes I would end up walking for a really long time and I had a blast. So try to just find a new habit to replace this boredom eating habit. Or maybe you do a lot of driving in the car and you find yourself snacking a lot while you're driving. Have like a fun playlist that you can sing along to. Instead of reaching for the food, put on a fun playlist, sing, tell yourself, I'm gonna get through, 4 songs of singing. And if at the end of 4 songs I still want a snack, well, maybe I'll have a little bite. But just, I'm just throwing things out there. Just try again to replace the bad habit with a good or fun new one. But I definitely think making sure your meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, again, are full of fiber, full of nutrients, full of amazing, satisfying starches. That's really gonna help you cut back on the snacking and, eating in between meals. All right, the number 4 reason you might not be losing weight on a vegan plant-based diet is drinking your calories. Now, obviously, this is 0 calories, but I'm talking about smoothies and juices, sodas, and milk. And let's not forget that Starbucks, y'all. You gotta be careful with what you're drinking and how many calories those things have. Now, I'm not here telling you don't have a smoothie or, juice some veggies and fruits, because those are great drinks to get more greens in for the day, more nutrients. But you do have to watch how much you're putting in there, because those calories can really add up. You may be drinking a smoothie that's really not filling your belly, and so then you're gonna wanna eat food in addition to that high-calorie smoothie. My favorite way to drink smoothies is to actually use water. And I don't put any type of protein powder in there. I don't really need to. I like to have my smoothie as part of my meal. So for example, one smoothie that I love to make is my pineapple, spinach, and kale smoothie. Literally all I put in there is about a cup of pineapple, a huge handful of spinach, a huge handful of kale, and 2 cups of water, and like half a banana to 1 whole banana. The whole thing fills a giant 32-ounce mason jar and only comes in at about close to 200 calories. That drink alone fills my stomach, because your stomach is actually the size of a 32-ounce mason jar, right around there. I'll then go ahead and couple that smoothie with maybe, 2 or 3 little Yukon Gold potatoes, just to help make me feel a little more satisfied. And again, I'm not adding a ton of calories to that meal. Another thing you can do with, let's say, smoothies is don't drink it so fast. Drink it slower. Allow your body some time to get satiated. Allow your body to slowly absorb the glucose and everything that comes with a smoothie. So watch what you're drinking. All right, now the 5th reason, but not the final, that you may not be losing weight on a vegan plant-based diet is the nuts, the seeds, the nut butters, the avocados, the high calorie, high fat plant foods. Now, I'm not saying these aren't healthy for you. These are amazing plant foods for us to consume. But we have to watch how much we are actually eating in a day. I know there's a lot of people out there who will eat like half a cup to a cup of nuts a day. Some will eat a whole avocado in a day. I know I used to be that avocado person who would eat like a whole avocado in a day. Isn't there like some diet out there, some fad diet that's like if you eat an avocado a day, you'll get skinny? Now again, these plant foods are super healthy, but when eaten in large quantities, they are taking the place of some other healthier foods that are a little bit lower in calories that will still satisfy you and keep you full long. Let's take nuts, for instance, right now. Nuts nowadays come already shelled. They come in bags. It's a lot easier to just pour a handful or two in your hand and consume them. But the way that they come in nature, they're meant to be, shelled by hand. And think about that. I don't know if you've ever shelled walnuts or anything, but it can take some time. And by the time you have a handful of shelled walnuts, that's probably all you're gonna eat because you don't want to be picking the shells off anymore. About a little handful of nuts is about all you need for a day. So just watch how much of those high-fat plant foods you're eating. I'm not saying don't eat them. I'm just saying don't eat a ton. So before we get to my bonus reason, which again I think is like the most important one of all of them, I want to just kind of recap the 5 that we've talked about so far, 5 reasons why you may not be losing weight on a vegan plant-based diet. The first one, we talked about the processed vegan foods out there. We then talked about consuming oils. We talked about mindless snacking, drinking our calories. And then for the 5th reason, we just talked about consuming too many of those high fatty, healthy plant foods. But moving on to number 6. The 6th reason I think you may not, or at least I know this was probably the number 1 reason I was not losing weight on a plant-based diet, was my mental and emotional ties to food, my mind. Now, some of you know this about me, but there's probably a lot of you that don't. Once I finally understood everything, I knew exactly what to eat, I read all the books, I watched all the documentaries, I knew how to lose weight. I still struggled. I struggled hard. And do you want to know why? Because of my mind. Y'all, our minds will play cruel tricks on us. And here's the honest truth. All of the weight loss information that you find here on this channel, this is just the basic surface of weight loss. And this works for a lot of people, but there are some out there, me included, who need a little bit more. We need a little bit more tweaking. We need a little bit more hand-holding because we do things like self-sabotaging. I can't tell you how many times I self-sabotaged myself. I would tell myself things like, oh, well, you've only really lost 2 pounds in the last 2 weeks. This is probably not working. You go ahead, make that pizza you want. There's delicious vegan pizza in there. And you know what? We'll reassess. We'll start again tomorrow. What? I had lost 2 pounds. It may not have been as quick as I wanted, but I was still trending downward on the scale. And even when I did have success, like really good success, about 10 to 15 pounds of weight loss, I would then tell myself, you know what though? It's probably gonna stop. This is too good to be true. There's no way you could possibly get to 40 pounds or 50 pounds less than what you are now. What? Why would I do that? Why would anybody do that? Well, our minds love to do this to us. Some of us just have strong mental and emotional ties to food, and guess what? That's okay. We just need a little bit more hand-holding. You could know everything that you have to do, but if you are letting your mind control everything, it's not gonna work out. You gotta have somebody there to keep you accountable, to hold your hand, to talk you off the ledge. And the way that I did that was with my main man, Ryan Adams. Ryan from Natural Weight Loss Mastery is an amazing vegan weight loss coach, and he pulled me through. He got me to break through and take hold of my mind. And I gotta say, signing up with him was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Once I was able to control my mind, I had broken free. The sky was the limit. So much so that after I even was done with his coaching, I was able to continue on by myself and lose an additional 30 pounds without him, just using the 5 tips that we talked about before this one. Not only that, understanding why my mind was trying to screw with me, that just opened the door to so many other reasons why I was suppressing feelings that I had. I really changed in so many other ways just by taking hold of my mental and emotional ties to food. So if this is you and you know what to do, you just can't seem to stick with it because your mind is playing tricks on you, I highly recommend talking to a weight loss coach or signing up with one. I know it can be expensive, but I am telling you, this is an investment in your health and your future. And you don't have to, go with Ryan. There are many weight loss coaches out there. I'm just telling you, he's pretty awesome. I would recommend him. I'll put a link to him in the description box. All right, my friends, so those are all of my reasons why you may not be losing weight on a vegan, whole foods, plant-based diet. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I love to know the videos that you guys really enjoy, and y'all always are so great at letting me know what you would love to see more of. So please make sure you continue to comment below, say hi to me, and just fill me in on what you'd like to see here on this channel. I hope y'all have a great week, and I hope you remember it's not all about losing weight and getting skinny and what you look like. This is about being healthy, having a new life, living as long as you possibly can, feeling vibrant and just full of life. Focus on that and you will reach your health and wellness goals. I can promise you that. That's why I'm here, to just help you get there. So I appreciate y'all being here, and I'll see you next week. Bye.